In Parshas Toldos, we have the story of Yaakov and Esau. Now, they are twins, and they have similar characteristics. In the case of Yaakov, really it's both of them, but Yaakov is the religious scholar, the man of belief. Um, he Esav is the one who's the clever hunter. He's very sly in catching animals, and he's sly in catching people. Uh, Both of them, in fact, have both characteristics. Yaakov can be sly and trap people, and Esav can have a great appreciation of religion as well. A major difference is the direction that they've gone in and what they have developed. Yaakov develops the idea of scholarship and belief. Esav develops the idea of being clever and sly, a trapper, a conqueror. One day, Esav, after he has committed his first murder and he's very exhausted from this, he comes back home and Yaakov is cooking lentil soup. And Esav asks him to give him some of the lentil soup. And Yaakov, who he's pursuing religion almost jealously, says to Esav, and he sees Esav's really unworthy. He says, "Sell me your rights as the firstborn for this pot of soup." And the rights of the firstborn basically are to be buried prominently in the family crypt, to be the mentor of the family, and to be the rabbi of the family. Esau, the high priest, to officiate in ceremonial functions. Now, Esau basically holds this in contempt, and he quickly agrees to sell it all for a pot of soup. The problem that you come up with is that this is really not the way to get a ceremonial, honorable position. Later on, when Esav very painfully has it driven home to him that he has been taken, becomes very angry and bitter, and he threatens to murder Yaakov. So Yaakov runs away, but Esav basically calms down after a while, and he draws the conclusion of the rest of the family that this is not the type of thing that he wants to be engrossed in, and that he wants to have his children engrossed. And so he's basically satisfied to let Yaakov handle the whole thing. The issue with Yaakov, though, is that what has emerged is a flaw in his personality, which becomes magnified with the Jewish people. And this is the idea of one is of improperly trying to get an honor, and the other one is, to a certain extent, he shares Esav's point of view, or he has acquired some of it, which is actual contempt of sacred service, of basically the honorary positions. The idea of a priest is the priest who offers karbanot, and basically karbanot are pseudos mitzvahs, a religious banquet where you express your thanksgiving and dedication to God, and you have people speak. Maybe you had a child, or maybe you made a lot of money, or you had an academic achievement, and you gather all your friends together, and you have a nice meal. The idea is that this is done in a very good place, the temple, and you're supposed to have it of a top quality food and top quality decor. And this is where you get into the prophet, where he is rebuking the Jewish people, basically because that God has not been properly honored, and on the contrary, he's been disgraced, because what have they been bringing? Diseased, robbed, or blemished carbonot, and a carbon that is lame or blind. It's not really an honorable thing to bring to the temple. The idea of the priest is that he's the rabbi, he's going to give the sermon, he's going to sit in a prominent position. The people are also saying that the prophet says that they are saying that the table of Hashem is disgusting. What you see, though, is that there is a certain amount of contempt of religion on their own part, or so to speak, they're saying that religion is in and of itself dirty, or it's a case where they're dirty themselves, so they have a dirty banquet. The idea that the prophet is rebuking them about is that it's like a king that throws a party, and you have some slob comes and he spoils the party. You have examples of that in Shmuel, where the sons of Eli are severely castigated because the people would bring a sacrifice, and while they're cooking up the meal from the sacrifice, that the sons of Eli would come and say, you have to give us our portion of the meat. The Kohen did get a portion of the meat. Okay, and the idea was, so to speak, that the Kohen was God's representative, so to speak. You were giving a gift to God, or the Kohen was his participation in the meal was it was like God's participation, and the people would say, "Wait till it's done." So what would they do? They take a long fork, and they'd stick it in the meat and say, "If you don't give it to me now, I'll take it by force." In other words, spoil the people's evening. And they are severely rebuked because of that. It really does offend people. So the idea, as I said, is that you should have the top decor, proper etiquette, excellent food when you're having a Suda Mitzvah. It shouldn't be garbage in a garbage place, in a place that's a mess. Okay, so there was a story actually that kind of illustrates that basically when you're going to do a Hiddur mitzvah, you're going to get an honor. You must get it in an honorable way. The idea is that you cannot steal or cheat your way into being the person who gives the first Devar Torah, or the person who has the honor of Chasan Torah, saying the last reading of the Torah on Simchas Torah. You've got to get this in an honorable way. The story was that Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, the most prominent rabbi of his time, the Gadol Hador, was asked by the Lubavitcher Rebbe why he doesn't put on Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. It would be a second pair of tefillin. And Rabbi Moshe responded that from the standpoint of the law, he really should. However, the state in which tefillin is written is so poor that it's not really appropriate for him to do so. He said, concerning Rashi, tefillin, the normal, regular tefillin, says you're obligated to do it. Therefore, even if it just barely gets a passing grade, you would still use it. Okay? He says, but when you're talking about Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, that's beautiful of the beautification of the mitzvah, and therefore you cannot beautify a mitzvah in an ugly way. He says that you must do it properly, or in a beautiful way. So what the Lubavitcher Rebbe did was he sent Rabbi Moshe a sofer with instructions to write the tefillin precisely the way Rabbi Moshe wants it. And what happened was that in his response to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he wrote a formal response, a tshuva. And in it, he lists what are his difficulties with the way tefillin were being written at the time. So the sofer wrote the tefillin, the Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, just the way Rabbi Moshe wanted him to do it, and Rabbi Moshe was very happy to use them. And there was an additional bracha that came from this, in that the tshuva was made public, and it became the basis for the tefillin that we wear today, and basically the shortcomings in tefillin were rectified because of the honorable way these two tzaddikim behaved towards each other. Thank you.